This is it. This is the first true Polestar. The Polestar 2 Liftback Original, launched back in 2021, was just the warm-up act. It was meant to be an S40 replacement from Volvo, but instead spearheaded the brand's introduction globally. But this car, this is new from the ground up, and it's targeting cars like the BMW iX and Porsche Cayenne. Has Polestar cracked it, or is this really one of the EV luxury cars to buy? Come with me and let's find out. Due to arrive in Australia very shortly, two models will be available initially. The $132,900 dual motor all-wheel drive version, and after that there will also be a performance version as well as a single motor rear-wheel driver that should be here by the end of the year. Prices start from $132,900 before on-road costs, which puts it right in the centre of its EV SUV competitor set. That's for the long-range dual-motor 2024 launch edition, with deliveries kicking off from August. Costing nearly twice as much as the Polestar 2, there's plenty of kit fitted as standard, including air suspension, active dampers, and performance brakes. You'll also find an evolved touchscreen setup, Polestar's Pilot Pack with 360-degree camera, lane change assistance and advanced high-speed lane keep, a very Scandi-style recyclable and animal-free technical weave upholstery that's actually quite lovely, heated front seats and 21-inch alloys. And being part of the VCU, which is the Volvo car universe, means that the Polestar 3 is a safety superhero. More on that in the safety section later on. But remember, the above pricing and equipment data are only for the 2024 launch edition models. The 2025 models will cost quite a bit more, over $15,000 more when equivalently specified, so get in quick. Note too that the Polestar 3s you see on your screen right now are far from base. For instance, if vegan is in your vibe, the Napa option switches to leather, vented and massaging front seats and more, but it's currently $7,500 extra. A head-up display also costs more, and for the 3 signature block-rocking 25-speaker audio upgrade that includes headrest speakers as well as active noise cancellation tech and infrared windscreen that apparently lowers summer cabin temperatures, heated front seats and more, you'll need the 9K Plus Pack. Hints of the Holden Torana LH Plus 4 in my opinion. Plus, you'll need the 9K Performance Pack, which adds a bit more power and racier tuned suspension for these wild 22-inch alloys. Of course, paying tens of thousands of dollars above base price for desirable options is playing the German game, and that's exactly where the Polestar 3 intends to win against the similarly priced and positioned Mercedes-Benz EQE, BMW iX and Audi Q8 e-tron. Where the Chinese-made SUV with Swedish genes differs though is in its styling. The Polestar 3 is actually twin with a Volvo EX90 and they both run on the SPA2 all-electrical architecture. The point is that this car is meant to be pure electric, and so what they've done is that they've made the Volvo boxy and very family-like and square and kind of spacious for that sort of thing, while being a Polestar they've gone for a sportier, sleeker and more agile look. So compared to other large SUVs, this one is considerably lower to the ground, yet still has quite a lot of ground clearance. It still has a long wheelbase, but it's overall sleeker and smoother and more aerodynamic. And the point there is that being an electrical vehicle, efficiency is like paramount in order to get the most amount of range. So it still has flush door handles like you find in other luxury SUVs, and Polestar reckons that there's more than enough space inside for 5 people. There won't be a 7-seater version of this car. Now moving around the back, it tapers down in kind of like a shooting brake style, like a long swoopy wagon-esque kind of silhouette, but it still has the regular styling cues that you expect from this brand. So let me just put this on, so you know that I'm here in Spain driving this car. Overall, what Polestar hopes this car achieves is an agile dynamicism in the way it looks and drives. It's really aimed at the sort of EV driver that wants to feel involved, like wants to really get to drive their car. And that's what the Polestar 3 is all about. This is quite the modern Polestar interior, and the 3 certainly doesn't disappoint. It's got this large portrait style touchscreen in the center with no physical buttons for the climate control in the vehicle settings, but instead has a fast acting and quite intuitive menu setup. It operates in conjunction with the controls on the steering wheel spoke. So it takes some time to get used to that, but once you do, it's straightforward. And you can set your key and a driver setting within the setting screen as well, so you're not constantly having to dive in if you are sharing a car with other people. And there are several profile modes for that. An excellent driving position. Vision out is really good, and that's also helped by these large and very stylish mirrors outside. The build quality is absolutely first class. This is a pre-production car, and over our drive program and over some bumpy roads, it didn't rattle or anything like that. It's full of recyclable materials. There are interesting trim and textures and contrasts, that really lift the ambience of the car. Combined with these excellent, like absolutely sumptuous front seats and a whole lot of sound deadening, this car doesn't have to pretend to be a luxury SUV. It absolutely nails that brief. And I can only imagine that the more conservative Volvo EV90 version will be at least as good as this car, and this is really good. The basics are also present, lots of storage, excellent ventilation, a banging audio system that Polestar provides, and really just a sense of luxury and premiumness. They've worked really hard, and it seems like they, as in Polestar's engineers, engineered this car from the inside out to the benefit of its occupants. Speaking of inside out, we're going to sit in the back seat now and see what that's like, so come with me. See, I got in without having to bend my head too much at all, and once I'm sat inside, I still feel like I'm sitting in an SUV. Again, heaps of space, tons of leg room, the flat floor because of the SPA2 all electrical architecture, providing even more space for me, and of course, another example of a sumptuously comfy seating arrangement with room for 3. Don't forget, this is only a 5-seater SUV. Controls for the climate control system are also operable back here. USB ports, storage, you can kind of fit larger things in and out of. It's all here. No grab handles though, that's one thing. And the ambience is maintained, that kind of luxury ambience. And further back, let's check that out. An electric tailgate that opens up quite nicely to reveal a fairly spacious cargo area. It's quite long, quite wide, a little bit high, but if you lift this floor, there's a huge well for you to put things in. I'll give you some idea how huge it is. I can actually almost sit inside it, so it's fairly deep. The actual capacity is on your screen right now as I clamber back out, but that's not all, because around the front there's also some more luggage area capacity. Check it out. You'll find there is all this space, which is large enough for your charger cable, a tyre repair kit, so unfortunately you don't get a full-size spare wheel, and even my trusty backpack. So in it goes, all snug and closed with this magnetically sealed lid, which is really good. As their dual motor name suggests, a pair of permanent magnet synchronous motors are fitted to the all-wheel drive Polestar 3, one for each axle. The front one makes up to 180 kilowatts of power and 420 newton-meters of torque, while the more dominant rear ones deliver up to 200 kilowatts of power and 490 newton-meters of torque, depending on tune. Total standard outputs are 368 kilowatts and 840 newton-meters. Need more? The Performance Pack ups those numbers to 380 kilowatts and 910 Newton meters to shave 0.3 seconds off the 0 to 100 sprint time. Meanwhile, that SPA2 architecture is a skateboard platform with wheels on each corner and supported by double wishbone suspension up front and an integral link rear end. A 111 kilowatt hour 400 volt lithium ion battery pack is nestled down low, helping create a 50-50 weight distribution. And among other tech advancements is a new torque vectoring system to make this 2.6 ton hippo flitter about like a hummingbird. So much for speed and agility. Polestar reckons the long-range dual-motor 3 offers a WLTP range of a whopping 631 kilometers, though the performance pack does peg that back to 561 k's. Under the same testing protocols, energy consumption is rated between 20 and 22 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. On average, we were at the higher end of the scale, but then again, we were having more fun than we had any right to in a Swedish luxury SUV. Right, I'm behind the wheel of the Polestar 3 and I'm going to tell you right now, right from the get-go, that this is the best driving Swedish car in the history of Swedish cars as far as I'm concerned. It's a big call, but hear me out because I am quite gobsmacked at how good this car is. Alright, for the moment we're only getting one basic specification. That's of course the dual motor all-wheel drive version as I'm driving right now. And by the end of the year there will also be the rear-wheel drive single motor version. So I can't even say what that's like. Judging by how good this thing is, I think that car may struggle. Alright, so it's got a large battery and it's got a very eager electric motor. It just rockets off the line, and that's in normal mode. When you put it in its performance mode, it flies. It's extremely fast for a vehicle of this size. Now, Volvo and Polestar work together putting this platform together because it also underpins the EX90, and as a result there really is a premium feel to the way this car rides and steers. The all-wheel drive version, dual motor version, has active dampers and air suspension, and it's got an active rear torque vectoring device which allocates drive to whichever wheel and whichever side you need, and as a result it all gels together really well to make it fast, nimble, and something that absolutely shrinks around you when you drive. Now I know that's a cliche, but given the size and the weight and the length of this car, it's like a small SUV, not a large SUV dynamically. The steering feels natural and progressive, and it's light enough to be quite maneuverable around town, yet engaging and responsive enough to really just be zippy through mountain roads and that sort of thing. It rides beautifully. It soaks up the bumps. You feel completely isolated from from the outside world, and it has a sense of control as well as luxury. So, I guess if I've got to sum it up, the Polestar 3 is a luxury SUV with a sporty, athletic personality, and the two coexist really brilliantly. It's difficult to fault. I guess I've got to wait till I drive this on Australian roads to really make a definitive conclusion, but as it stands, this elephant-sized SUV dances and jigs and zigs and zags like a much smaller machine while pampering you in the process. It's not just all about going fast and having fun. While no crash test rating has yet been released, a 5-star result is anticipated thanks to active and passive safety tech that's right at the forefront of the industry, including advanced driver assist systems aided by 9 exterior cameras, 2 interior ones, and a dozen ultrasonic sensors. Co-developed with the Volvo EX90, the 3 should be about as safe as motoring gets in 2024. Read more about the Polestar safety systems in my detailed written review at carsguide.com.au. And speaking of security, Polestar provides a 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty as well as free servicing for that time frame or the first 100,000 kilometres, whichever occurs first. Service intervals are every 2 years or 30,000 kilometres. Another advantage of buying an EV. Well, I never. This might be the best Polestar I've ever driven, as well as possibly the best Volvo I've ever driven. That's because it's got a level of design and engineering sophistication that really elevates it to the level that you might expect from a Porsche Cayenne and a BMW iX. It's really that good. As far as this dual motor all-wheel drive version is concerned, anyway, it really is a knockout. I can't wait to drive this on Australian roads, so until that happens, you'll have to wait for the definitive verdict from us. But until then, you can read the full review of my drive here in Spain of the Polestar 3 at carsguide.com.au. And as always, thanks for watching.